What's up guys, it's Daz here, but you don't really care, as it's been a while, and with Smash Bros 4 being released for the 3DS around this time in different regions, I thought I'd make a tribute to that by making a top 10 of the final smashes in the game. Now if you're still avoiding spoilers for the characters, stages or whatever, obviously don't watch this video. Now, saying which final smash is the best is quite subjective, therefore I'll be tackling this from two perspectives. Aesthetics and effectiveness. Now obviously one is more factual than the other, so you will probably rate final smashes differently to how I might. So I decided I'm going to make multiple lists to decide which is better, or worse. In this video there will be 10 lists. If you wish to skip to a certain one, then you can go to the description and jump right to it. You may also find in the description an approximate damage done by each character's final smash. Credit to Community Game for uploading a video compilation of all final smashes, which also included the damage taken by the opponents. Most compilations I saw didn't include this, so thank you, and I hope you don't mind me using your video to show off the moves. Channel link in the description. Right, enough of that. The 10 lists are as follows. Best looks and damage, all characters. Best looks and damage, newcomers only. Best damage, all characters. Best damage, newcomers. Best looks, all characters. Best looks, newcomers. Worst damage, all characters. Worst damage, newcomers. Worst looks, all characters. Worst looks, newcomers. You can see how that works, so yeah. Click these or in the description if you want to just skip to them. Alright, let's do this. Here are the best final smashes in Super Smash Bros. For 3DS, according to looks and damage. And do note that the damage statistics are only approximate, as range and such can affect the results. So, at number 10 you have Pac-Man, and what do you know, he does in fact use a single fruit which makes him go into a super retro 2D Pac-Man man. He's able to pretty much just dominate the stage, hitting other characters for 15% damage per hit. Not to mention the fact that you can see exactly where they're going to fly by the retro eyeballs going away, meaning you can pretty much predict where they're going to land before they become hittable again, and you can probably rack up a nice bit of damage. Number 9 is Luigi at 40% damage. He gets his vacuum, also known as the Poltergust 3000 or Poltergust 5000 from the Luigi's Mansion series, sucks up any nearby opponents and shoots them away. Number 8 is Captain Falcon, who does 10% damage upon hitting an enemy straight in front of him, and then a further 40% by actually hitting him with his vehicle. Number 7 we have Mega Man, and yes, this is the fan favourite as you can tell, considering it has 5 generations of Mega Man, all attacking a certain character at once. This does 40% damage. At number 6 we have the Mii Brawler. Their attack does 45% damage by hitting enemies into the top centre area of the stage and hitting them in quite an aesthetically pleasing fashion. Number 5 we have Robin, who, quite similar to the Brawler, lifts up enemies to the centre of the stage and then attacks alongside Chrom to do a lot of damage, 45% in fact. For number 4 we have the Duck Hunt Dog, who is able to teleport the characters into a new arena into some sort of shootout alleyway thing in a retro style. This does, once again, 45% damage. And now, number 3, at 52% damage, a bit of an odd number, we have Greninja. In a sort of Ninja Knights-esque fashion, you get a massive full moon and a bunch of shadows, and Greninja goes and flies about in some crazy fashion. It's good, I like it. At number 2, doing 55% damage, we have Ganondorf, who is quite quick in his actual smash move, but it's pretty pleasing to see. He turns into his beast form from Twilight Princess, and then rams across the stage and knocks any players off the field. And at number 1, doing a whopping 60% damage in a single hit, it is Ike. Much like the Brawler and Robin, he attacks enemies by swooping them up to the top of the stage and then hitting them quite a bit and shouting a little bit as he does it. But 60% damage is not something to scoff at. Alright, now that's all well and good that we've known the top 10 good-ish characters for Final Smashes, but what about newcomers only? I mean, these are the new people, so let's just compare them by themselves. At number 10, doing 45% damage, we have the Villager, who is able to form a house with the help of Tom Nook and Timmy and Tommy, and what it does is it sucks characters into that and then blows them away when the house is built. At number 9, we have the Mii Sword Fighter. Doing 50% damage, he swipes at his sword to create some sort of light beam effect, kind of like Mario's Final Smash, across the stage to do 50% damage. For number 8 we have the Mii Gunner, who does 35% damage, but is also able to do a kind of Samus Aran laser beam thing, but with extra bits on the side, and it's just really cool how it's all spinning and looks good. I like it. Number 7 is Shulk, who teleports away and gets the help of Ricky and Dunban to help him attack an enemy by slicing a bunch, and only does, but it's okay, 35% damage. At number 6 we have Pac-Man once again with 50% per hit. Number 5 we have Mega Man once again. Number 4 we have the Mii Brawler once again. Number 3 we have Robin once again. Number 2 we have Duck Hunt Dog. And number 1, wouldn't you know it, we have Greninja. Okay, so that could have been seen as pretty objective. You had a half part of actually how it looked and another part of how it did damage. So how about we just go directly onto facts with who does the most damage out of all the characters. At number 10, we have a joint third for 10, doing 50% damage in their final smash. We have the Mii Sword Fighter, Olimar and Pikmin, and Dr. Mario. The Sword Fighter of course does his laser beams across the stage. Olimar has his old final smash where he flies up into the sky and orbits for a while the other characters are attacked by bulb orbs, and then he crashes down and explodes the stage, doing a massive amount of impact damage. And Dr. Mario has a Mario-esque final smash, but instead of fireballs he uses pills. At number 9, doing 52% damage, we have Greninja and his Ninja Knight thing. At number 8 we have Ganondorf in his 55% damage wolf beast form from Twilight Princess. And the next 5 fighters all do 60% damage, and they include Lucina, who swipes directly towards the enemy in a sort of Fire Emblem fashion to instantly take them out, Ike, who we've already seen before, and Marth, who has pretty much an identical final smash to Lucina. As for Toon Link and Link, they also have similar final smashes. They capture a single enemy in a Triforce, slash about with their sword, and then stab them away. At number 2, after all of that, we have Pit. Now this move kind of confused me. He uses the 3 sacred treasures and goes in a sort of rampage of swinging attacks from all areas. And from what I saw, he can do between 75% and 100% damage. That's pretty crazy if that's like true, but that might just, guess it depends mainly on the circumstances of the actual battle. It probably changes and varies in each battle, much like most of these damage statistics. And at number 1, we have, believe it or not, Little Mac. When using the final smash, he evolves into Giga Mac and is able to do a whopping 40% damage per hit. Considering that Little Mac is a pretty fast attacker, you could probably easily swoop up about 120% in an easy like 5 seconds. Not to mention at the end of the clip, Little Mac charges up his attack and does 50% in a single hit. It's not the most damaging in a single move, but put it all together and that's probably a force to be reckoned with. Jesus. Alright, so now we've done all the characters and we see who does the most damage. A little surprising to hear Little Mac, but it's how it goes. So, looking at newcomers, who does the most damage? Well, joint for 40% in a single hit, we have Mega Man, Dark Pit, who acts in a single slice, and Palutena. Up next we have Pac-Man, who still uses 15% per hit. Above that, joint for 45% damage in a single hit, we have the Mii Brawler, Robin, Villager, and the Duck Hunt Dog. One up from that, for 50% damage, we have the Mii Sword Fighter. Once again, for 52% damage, we have Greninja. 60% we get Lucina, and wow, what a surprise! Number 1, once again, is Little Mac at 40% per hit. Okay, so that's all well and good, they do a most amount of damage, but which ones would actually please a crowd in an audience? Of course, these next 2 lists are going to be the most subjective out of the 10, but hey, it's probably nice to know if you wanted to look it up. So, best aesthetics overall. Number 10, we have the Mii Gunner. The fact that they use a sort of laser beam across the stage, and it's also like 3 separate elements and they're twisting around it, I like it a lot. For number 9, we have King DIDDY. His final smash has been upgraded from the old Waddle Dee dance party and instead uses a variety of different weapons to combo and hit the enemy away. I like how it looks. Number 8, we have Ganondorf once again with his beast form from Twilight Princess, ramming across the stage. At number 7, we have Meta Knight, who in a very Ninja-esque fashion is able to slow down time as he swipes over his cape and then slices them when the camera can't see. For number 6, we have Captain Falcon even more, where he smashes into other characters in a whole teleported room on a track. Number 5, we have the Wii Fit Trainer, who uses a variety of different poses in different colours to just sweep across the stage and whack characters back. At number 4 we have Pac-Man and his massive retro fashion fruit upgrade thing. At number 3 we have the Mii Brawler, who once again goes to the top center of the stage and does a lot of hitting. At number 2 we have Greninja and his ninja-esque full moon hitting the shadows, really cool looking cool stuff. And then number 1, as you can probably tell, is Mega Man. The fan service of being able to bring in all different generations of Mega Man to attack at once means it's pretty much a fan favorite at this point. And so now it's on to which ones look the best for newcomers only. And of course we know the top few, so I'm just going to go down this backwards this time. Number 1 is obviously Mega Man, number 2 Greninja, number 3 Mii Brawler, number 4 Pac-Man, number 5 Wii Fit Trainer, number 6 Gunner, number 7 Duck Hunt Dog, but number 8, and here's where the new ones come along, we have Little Mac. The fact that he upgrades into a Giga Mac is certainly, well, it looks good. It looks weird, it looks interesting. I mean, it's probably where the audience will probably keep their eyes, so yeah, Little Mac's at number 8. At number 9 we have the Mii Sword Fighter. With his beams across the stage, it certainly looks interesting. And at number 10, in an also sort of fan servicey fashion, Shulk teleports characters away and brings in Dunban and Ricky to do some damage. Okay, now that was pretty fun, seeing which is the most damage and which one looks the best and which one looks the best and does the most damage, but well, how about we swap that completely and see who does the worst damage in the game? So, here is a top 15 of the worst damage people. Why 15? You'll find out in a minute. At number 7, don't worry, this will make sense soon, we have Jigglypuff, who still kept the final smash from Brawl for some reason, doing 17% damage, or approximately. Jigglypuff inflates, gets larger and larger on screen, and then finally ends it off by going Jiggalo, and then everyone goes flying to the side. Joint for 6th place we have Yoshi, Wario, Zero Suit Samus, Fox, Falco, Pikachu, Mr. Game & Watch, Sonic and Pac-Man, all doing 15% per hit. Yoshi turns into a sort of more flying dragon, fire-breathing version of itself. Wario also upgrades into a garlic version of Wario. Well, he upgrades himself through garlic. Zero Suit Samus gets out her little ship and is able to shoot at characters on screen. Fox brings out the Landmaster, as does Falco. Pikachu turns into a Shadow Ball and zooms across the stage, as does Sonic in his Supersonic mode. Pac-Man goes into his retro fruit version of himself, and Mr. Game & Watch upgrades to the Octopus version, where he just hits people slowly at 50% damage per hit. At number 5 we have Donkey Kong, doing 10% per hit. But hey, it's a reference to the bongo time. If you can time it well enough, you'll probably do the most amount of damage. At number 4 we have Ness, doing 8% damage per hit. With his PK Starstorm, which you can now slightly control by moving to the left and the right, it's pretty effective, but if your enemy's good at dodging, it's not going to go too well. Number 3 we have Diddy Kong, who upgrades into flying around on his jetpack and shooting peanuts everywhere. It's a shame it only does 5% damage per hit. At number 2 is the Koopalings. It might look nice that the Koopalings turn into Shadow Mario and then make a paint go across the stage, but every time a character gets hit, they only get hit for 3% damage. I would feel that some characters would get hurt more by this, such as Little Mac since he's not much of an aerial fighter, but maybe people like Peach would probably be able to avoid it completely. So it looks nice, but it's not very effective. And at number 1, also known as the weapon of minor annoyance, it is Rosalina's Final Smash, hitting at 3% damage per hit and 12% damage at the end when it explodes. Honestly, the only occasion where I can see this Final Smash actually being surprisingly helpful is when a character's off the edge of the stage trying to recover and you use it on the corner or the edge of that place, because then they'll be trying to get up and they'll get hit by the mini stars and then the impact might throw them off the stage. But even then, it only targets one character and it's only able to knock them out once, as opposed to some Final Smashes which can take out 3 enemies at once. It really is just the worst damage Final Smash in the game. And now it's time for who does the worst damage as newcomers only. Now we know the top 3 least damaging people being Rosalina, Koopalings and Pac-Man once again, so let's just go backwards once again, starting at number 4. Tied for 35% damage each, it is the Wii Fit Trainer with her Rainbow Attack, and Shulk with his teleporting Ricky Dunban Smash Attack. At number 5 we have Palutena doing 40% damage. in a single hit. At number 6, we have Mega Man only doing 40% damage. It might look good, but it's not that damaging. It's a shame, really. At number 7, we have Dark Pit doing about 40 to 50% damage in his hit. Number 8, we have the Mii Sword Fighter doing 50% damage. And at number 9, which is still somehow the top 10 because Wii Fit Trainer and Shulk were both on 4, Lucina does 60% damage. There's either not enough newcomers or these newcomers are pretty good if the 10 worst damaged person does 60% damage. Oh well. And now it's time for the final 2 lists. Which ones look the worst? First, all characters. At number 10 we have Jigglypuff. Just inflating on the stage, that's all there is to it. It might draw attention, but it's not really wowie. At number 9 we have Rosalina and her minor star and some light explosions. Not very interesting. At number 8 and 7 we have Fox and Falco with pretty much identical final smashes. They come attack with their Landmasters and, well, it looks pretty okay, but some look better really. At number 6 we have Donkey Kong and his bongo smashing. Doesn't take up much of the stage and can be easily avoided. At number 5 we have Diddy Kong and his peanut butter upgrade. Considering Diddy Kong is already a small character, the fact that he's flying around doesn't really help him that much. At number 4 we have Lucina, who just slices at enemies really quick. It might be nice for like a couple seconds when you can see the bar going down, but other than that, not really anything to it. This is the same for number 3 in Marth's final smash. At number 2 we have the Koopalings. You get a short cameo appearance from Shadow Mario and then an X on the screen, made out of paint. It's not very interesting. That's pretty much the same as the Nintendo's assist trophy from Brawl. And number 1, worst looking final smash, according to me at least, that would be Peach. It's not an offensive attack, it's literally just, here's a border, Peach does a dance, fruits appear. Wahey. You could argue that Peach does the least damage as the final smash, but the thing is, her final smash is not offensive. It's more just trying to buff herself, trying to retrieve some health. So, I didn't think I should really count it as worst damage. So, yeah. And finally, which newcomers look the worst in their final smashes? Considering there aren't an amazing amount of newcomers in the game, you can assume that some good looking ones have shown up in the worst one. So, number 10 we have Little Mac. Turning into Giga Mac, it looks good to me, but there are certainly some better ones in the game. At number 9 we have the Mii Sword Fighter. The fact that he puts laser beams across the stage is pretty appealing, but it's not very new considering Mario did it first. At number 8 we have Shulk, teleporting away with Ricky and Dunban. It's nice to see the new characters, but it's not really much interesting in the way of the actual attack and the slashing, it's just more of a cameo appearance. At number 7 we have Robin, who, once again taking from Ike's final smash, just goes up to the top and brings in a new character. Woohoo! At number 6 we have Palutena's final smash, which really is just, it's okay. At number 5 we have the Villager. It looks pretty good when you can see the enemy being spun around in the middle of the house, but really it's not really too much going on. At number 4 we have Dark Pit, who once again just does a simple slash. It's not very appealing. It's effective, but not very appealing. At number 3 we have, what do you know, Rosalina and her attack of minor annoyance. At number 2 we have Lucina and her quick jab. And number 1 we have the Koopalings and his simple cross on the screen. I don't get it. It's not that appealing to me. I do apologise. So, what is the best final smash in Smash 4? Well, it's down to you. Your playstyles and skills may make some final smashes work better than others. So play around, have fun. It's what they're there for, but good luck if you choose Rosalina. I think I personally will stick with Little Mac. But hey, best damage characters are Little Mac and Pit, whilst best looks are Mega Man and Greninja, in my opinion. Now you know. So with that knowledge, let's play some Smash, and maybe do a bit better than before. For now, my name's been Daz. You didn't really care, and I'll see you in a bit. Thanks for watching. Here are some other links in case you wanted to see what else I've made in the past. I also want to spend some time to talk to you directly for a moment, if you don't mind. So I'd like to apologise for not uploading in just over a month. I spent the first 3 weeks just procrastinating, and then I had plans to do a sequel to all 160 characters in Smash so far. I had planned to list every character at that point and sing it to the Poker Rap song. And then leaks came out, and then they were confirmed. And then I couldn't find an instrumental version of the Poker Rap song that actually synced with the song. And then the game was released in Japan, and then I got some sort of throat chest infection which I've only just really come back from. You might hear it in my voice a little bit. And then the whole thing just went out of hand. And now I think I'll try to pick it up again in a few months' time, when everything in the 3DS version has been exposed. For my next video, I'm considering doing something about the Pokemon universe, or maybe not the next video, but sometime soon. But it would require a ton of reading through every Pokemon's information. So I think I'm going to throw that out there in case I accidentally vanish for weeks again. Though I might upload another smaller video so the gap isn't so long, well, I don't really know, we'll have to see. Anyway, this outro has been going on for a bit of a while, so I better leave now. I'll see you in a bit.